Welcome back to the program, everybody. We are now about to dive into Alien Earth, Episode 3, called Metamorphosis, is it? And I am joined by my lovely wife, Maj, as usual. And we have returning to the fold, Scott. How you doing, Scott?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, buddy. It's good to have you. We're back to our three-man band situation here, although we were holding it down pretty well, I will say, Maj and myself, but we're happy to have you. And a little disclaimer before we get going. Obviously, Scott wasn't on the first two episodes, so he might be saying shit we've already said. We don't really get together to talk about how this is going to go. It doesn't really matter. So, Scott, don't hold back. Say whatever you need to say. Don't guess if we may or may not have said something. Don't even worry about it.
All right.
But
I'm very curious to hear what Scott thinks about the show.
yeah, we'll probably start with overall thoughts for Scott, just to get him up to speed with the viewers and the listeners. But I will say that I'm excited to talk about it. I still think there's a lot of good stuff to talk about in this show. I do think that each episode is a little bit less than the one before it, though, and I am concerned about that downward trend in quality. Even though I see a downward trend in quality, I do think that there is still plenty of great stuff to talk about in this show from a science fiction perspective. And Scott, I don't know if you listened back, but one of the things we were saying was that it is cool to be able to widen the scope of the alien universe without concerning ourselves with the xenomorph so much, getting into the ideas of what is it like to transfer one's consciousness and things like that. So I'm sure that stuff will come up. We've talked about it at length already, but it still maintains relevant in this episode today. So I guess I'll start with some of your opening thoughts just about the series in general, Scott. I don't know if it was on your radar or what, but why don't you wax poetic for a minute or two?
Yeah. I honestly heard it was in production a while ago and completely forgot about it. I just heard that they were doing an Alien TV show. And I wasn't very excited when I did hear about it because, unfortunately, with this, I guess your license or property or whatever you want to call it is not or has not had a good record for a long, long time past Alien 3. And even some people think Alien 3 is a dog movie, but as I get older, I really enjoy it.
I think we both were saying the same thing on the first episode of this program, so you're in line with us as far as that goes.
Okay. Yeah. It's been really rough to watch. Hearing something news coming down the pipeline, I always have like a half excitement, half trepidation, but this one completely slid under the radar for me. Yeah, now watching it, I've been catching up the last couple of days. There's a lot that I enjoy. There's some quirkiness. I got to say, this boy Cavalier guy's got to go. But besides that, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the other aspects, like you said, of this world. What is a cyborg? What is a human? What is consciousness? What is personality? What is spirit or soul? There's a lot to get into, and it really it was mind bending. I mean, I had to watch this a couple times to kind of get into it, to kind of feel where I needed to be as far as is surface level stuff, and then the layers underneath. And there's a lot to talk about. I'm high on this, believe it or not. 3 episodes in, I am pleasantly surprised. I think they really nail sometimes the aesthetic of the first 2 movies, like the retro future stuff. Even though it's a little cleaner in this, but I think it hits home. I mean, I'm ready to sit down and talk about this because I'm really interested in this. I want to watch it more right away, which is rare.
Yeah, I think that I'd call that a victory. Do you feel the same way, Maj? Like when the episode ends, are you like, oh, I'd like to see the next one now? Do you find yourself looking forward to watching Alien Earth?
Yeah, I do. And what I like about that is I don't have a clear feeling of where it's going to go next. Like with this episode, I had no expectation of. Usually I'm always like, oh, I think they're going to do this and this next. Somehow this show manages to kind of not make me guess immediately what's going to happen next, and I enjoy that, although this episode had some issues. Also, I think now we have to split the brain cell between the 3 of us, since Scott also doesn't like Boy Cavalier.
That's true.
Yeah. We were told on YouTube that we have one brain cell between the 2 of us because we don't like Boy Cavalier because he's the best character.
You shouldn't even
He's
say it out
definitely
loud
not.
because that person just gets fuel.
Oh yeah, well,
You're just giving them the fuel they desire, and they should be mocked and derided for silly posts on YouTube.
I think that person needs to go outside and touch some grass or
Oh,
moss.
don't say it. Don't you say touch some grass. Ugh. Maybe he's right. Maybe we do only have one brain cell.
We might. Yeah, well, now we have to split it between the three of us.
Now
I know.
we have a third. You
It's
don't even
kind of
have
it's,
a brain
it's like we have one sandwich, and I'm already annoyed. I have to give some of it to Maj, and now I have to give some of that sandwich to Scott.
Hell yeah.
It's very annoying. But back to the content in question. Yeah, I think this show, I am serious when I say that I think the least interesting thing is starting to become the xenomorph and Wendy's superpowers. I told you last week that if Wendy becomes a superhuman like Rey Skywalker, I will be very annoyed with the show. And it's unfortunate that she killed a xenomorph with a paper cutter.
Yeah,
Because that's what she did. She
Yeah.
slammed it through the steel of a shipping container and then through its carapace, or at least its armored, its sintered armored body, and then spilled its acid all over the place. And
Yes,
although
and
she
somehow
was
it-
smashed to pieces, we don't even see those wounds other than she had a little like white milk blood coming out of her head and collapsed. I was like, she cut off an alien's head. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Masha.
I have to point out that the blade didn't melt.
It's a great point.
It didn't
Yeah.
melt because
Holy
of the acid
shit!
blood.
Who made that?
Yeah, I actually can't take credit for it, but I saw a comment online saying must be a Hattorianzo
A Torianzo. You, I didn't realize you
paper
could get
cutter
it.
blade.
I didn't realize you could get them at Staples. That's
Guess
good
so.
news. $28, I can get an acid resistant blade off of a paper cutter. That's good to hear.
To be fair, I think it's melted a little bit at the very end of the battle, but the fact that she stabs it upwards and the blood oozes down the length of the blade and nothing happens to it is completely stupid.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I had a feeling. I remember when the whole sequence starts, when that whole the whole alien fight sequence. We might as well talk about it now and get it out of the way because there's more interesting things to discuss. But that whole alien fight sequence, Wendy doing her T-1000 run, looking for John Connor, just pumping her hands, running fast. Still a better runner than Seagal, which is great. No dodgy flappers, nothing thrown off her balance, but. She does, she runs into, again, Scott, you said this, and I just want to quickly point it out. We are also in agreement as far as production design. I think the show looks great. I like to look at it.
Yeah.
It's very visually appealing, and when Wendy's looking for Hermit down in this underground parking garage of sorts, or whatever the hell it is, it looks great. I like the look of it. I like it's shipping containers, but it could just be trailers for trucks. And she finds Hermit covered in resin in the back of one of these trucks. And the meat hanging and the color of the orange light on the outside of it when she walks in and goes through the plastic. There's meat hanging and then there's him. And I don't know. I still think it looks good. I was excited, but also while I'm watching this, and I don't know if you felt this way, Maja, did you feel like, nervous?
Oh, yeah.
But I don't mean like, oh no, it's going to get him like, how is this going to go?
No. I wasn't nervous for Hermit at all because the show has established already that Hermit can't die at the hands of the xenomorph because it just menaces him. It just crawls over him and drips lube all over him. It won't kill him. Clearly, it's happened so many times.
It could be courting him.
Have some of my KY.
It might be because it does not, while the scene looks beautiful and I love the shot of it like pushing through the plastic curtains, it looks awesome.
It's amazing.
But no matter how much I try to think about it, it just doesn't make sense why it would have brought Hermit here because he was there at the nest with the eggs. They capture people, like, did it carry him off to bait Wendy? Or as a snack to put aside for later, or what the fuck?
So I hear you. I don't know if I'm ready to say that it's bad yet over that, because I have this weird suspicion that maybe it is trying to bait Wendy, maybe it is trying to capture Wendy, and maybe it's trying to use her as a host because it can sense something about her. And maybe it's going to birth a super xenomorph or some shit. We don't really know what its motivation is.
No, but usually they don't go for synthetics because they can sense that they're not viable hosts. It's not a living human body that would be a good host for the chest burster.
Do we know for certain that a synthetic has never been face hugged?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it comes later. It comes up later where the eggs don't respond to the synthetic bodies.
Right.
Yeah, and Cavalier says like only synthetic people in and out of the lab. They
Good
only
point.
react when a human goes near them. So it doesn't make it. It's not trying to get Wendy as a host. I was thinking that the only thing that would make sense is that Wendy is somehow able to communicate with it because she can hear their language or whatever that is, which I honestly hope isn't the case because that would be annoying.
Right.
She's gonna start clicking. She's gonna start talking to him.
If she
Are you gonna shut it off if she does that, Dean?
Yes. If she goes from a straight face to a and just starts making weird faces and noises, I'm out. I'll keep covering it though. And also to your point, Maja, there's a moment where this thing, I had to see it on my rewatch. I caught it. The xenomorph spears him. He Dracula impales this kid with his tail. I mean, that's a kill shot.
Yeah, and he's still walking around. I mean, the shock would maybe give him some time, but still, that's a very grievous wound. And he's still walking around and doing stuff.
Grievous wound.
Yeah.
A general grievous wound, I think. No, I think for certain it would have.
General Kenobi.
If you got any Marlboros. I think, I feel as if this xenomorph, when it blasts its tail all the way through his torso, and he is a dainty fellow. There's nothing wrong with being a dainty fellow, by the way, but he is in fact one. And I think even a hardy fellow, I think, even a big strong feller would have struggled to be impaled by a xenomorph tail. I expected, him to go unconscious, to be out. I mean, I think it's alien technology, medical technology as to why Hermit's still alive. Otherwise, he would have died. I think they saved his life, clearly. But all that aside, it's just when we have, we know synthetics are strong, but how strong? Strong enough to tug of war with a xenomorph. I know, it's a stiff weapon, and maybe it couldn't close the distance on her, but I feel like if she was in melee range of this thing, and synthetic or not, I just think it's going to tear you apart.
I think so too. The only thing that would make sense is that the inner mouth, how do you pronounce that? Pharyngeal jaw, which is what moray eels actually have, which I think might have been an inspiration for this. They have like a little inner mouth that comes out.
I did not know that.
That's freaky.
Yeah, it's so creepy. They're freaky looking. Yeah, but I think
I call it mini mouth.
The mini mouth might be kind of like a very vulnerable piece of them that maybe it's a little incapacitated by that being grabbed, although it does end up biting it off. Which is fucked up, like it bites off a body part to free himself.
I do wonder about the evolution of the xenomorph and why that is considered a sophisticated design when they can just claw, spike, and regular bite you. I don't know
because
why.
it looks so awesome.
Fair enough.
Because it's Giger design, and they have protruding penis thingies and all kinds of interesting stuff that looks like
they are
human
a penetrative race.
They are very
even by the reproduction, absolutely.
They are a penetrative race, no question.
So
go ahead, Scott. What's your take on some of this combat?
Well,
bring it back down.
It was really interesting to see something drag in a xenomorph, even if I was maybe not. But maybe this new race of I guess they would, these organic.
They call them hybrids.
Hybrids, right?
I know you had to cram for the tests, and you had to watch 3 eps very quick.
I did.
It's hybrids. It's hybrids, synths, and cyborgs.
Yeah, cyborgs. Yep. And I think they turn what's his name there? I'm sorry. They turn Hermit into a like a cyborg at the end because they took his lung.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a little more augmented. It's
like
cool
Morrow.
to see.
Like Morrow is a cyborg.
Yeah, he's a human with like some organic like cybernetic parts inside him, right? He can download and upload.
Yeah, and you are a human with augmentation. That is a cyborg. Yep.
He's got Wi-Fi.
In the classic cyberpunk sort of neuromancer way, the Gibson way, which is cyberpunks or cyborgs are people that are replacing parts of their body with synthetic parts of with synthetics. Be them cybernetics and robotics or neural implants or things that augment like your adrenaline gland or neural implants that help you learn things faster. That's all cybernetics, but you're born human. You're born of the womb, as it were.
Not being uploaded onto some kind of chassis of some robot, you know?
Right, that's a hybrid. A hybrid is essentially Bishop with a person inside it.
Yeah, with someone's essence or soul or personality or whatever you want to call
consciousness.
Yeah, consciousness.
Speaking... go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, speaking of Bishop, I wish that we could see how these specific synths seem to be so indestructible. I wish we could see at least some injuries on Wendy, because how are they so durable? Again, this gets into the whole like timeline and what technology can exist and blah, 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 because 50 years later from this point, Bishop gets ripped apart.
By a queen.
I know that is a queen, which is probably super strong.
Its tail is the size of Texas, and it ran it through his chest, dude.
Yeah, but still, after what we've seen this xenomorph in the show do, it's ripping people into tiny little shreds in seconds.
Yeah, it's
a blender for humans.
And Scott, I don't know if Scott knows the timeline, but this takes place 2 years before Alien.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering...
If you think about Ash gets his head knocked off by Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah, with like a fire extinguisher.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Yaphet Kotto's a big fella, but I don't think he's stronger than a fucking xenomorph. I think it's a lot stronger than him.
Because that was going to be my next question, because during Alien Resurrection Part 4, they talk about how this new version of the synthetics come out, and it was supposed to revolutionary I can't say that word.
Revolutionize. But, you got it, baby.
Yeah, there you go. I had it. The synthetics.
Just kidding.
Thank you. But it ended up burying it, and that's what Winona Ryder's character is. I was hoping that this was like the preamble to that, but I don't think it is. I think this is just something completely separate. There was also... Do you remember there was a movie after the Battlestar Galactica show where they talk about like early Cylons and uploading the consciousness of his wife, or his daughter. I'm sorry. I was drawing a lot of parallels to that in this.
Right. Yeah. Totally. It's a classic science fiction idea, which is Altered Carbon does the same, which is you can just sort of body hop because we can take your consciousness and move it around. There's a really cool role playing game setting called Eclipse Phase. This idea that you can shunt your consciousness even into a machine. Cool. You like put dad in the toaster if you're mad at him. You know what I mean?
I'm going to hide in the coffee maker.
Dad. you're just zipping around. You're in a car, then you're in a jet, whatever. But no, it's I don't know. First of all, I did not have on my bingo sheet that Scott would hit us with Alien 4 lore, so that's nice. Maj and I largely were ignoring it, so I'm glad you're mentioning it.
Yeah, I didn't have the girl interrupted android on my list of sins to compare Wendy to.
You didn't have horny fucking Brad Dourif over the aliens on your bingo card tonight.
Just he's licking the glass,
sweat everywhere,
squeezing his nipples, fucking creepy Grima worm tongue while he looks at xenomorphs.
He's almost as wet as the xenomorphs. Dripping KY jelly too.
Gross.
He keeps slipping and falling. He's got to miss a lot of work. I fell again. So anyway, it's you may be onto something. Like we know Wendy has a lot of strength. We know that her synthetic body can withstand a lot of damage because she jumped off of a cliff onto a beach. Now, could Ash have done the same? I guess. I don't know. And I think that's where you have to be careful, right? It'd be funnier to see Ian Holm do it, but I do wonder about that, but I think whenever it comes to things that are prequels, something quills, whatever quills, we have to understand that there's probably going to be some variations on the theme, as it were. There's going to be a little bit of a motif shift because they want to expand the universe a little bit, but that does always hurt the integrity of the entire intellectual property a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind pushing a little, like I said before, but when it takes me out of it.
Right.
That's a problem. When I get too distracted by like, no, that doesn't make any sense. You have to play at least a little bit by the rules of the franchise. You don't have to entirely religiously follow every little thing that has been established before, because nobody has done that. There's so many different aspects to the franchise and so many different storylines and like alternate versions of where Newt and Hicks live in the comics, which is actually really awesome. But you don't need to do that religiously. But still, when it pushes too far to where I'm like, I'm now not following the plot of the show because I'm focusing on too much on what just happened, how it doesn't make any sense, then it's a problem.
Right. And I think it behooves us to discuss and to qualify too far. And I think too far is anytime you undermine the very struggle that's been established in every single Alien film, which is these things fighting you.
Yeah.
It's a losing proposition every single time. On a long enough timeline, it's going to kill you. You have to get away and blow it up, or you have to use superior firepower. And even then, your team is doomed, as we saw in the second film. And to see Wendy grappling with this thing with a melee weapon, I mean, if she had a weapon, like we had no problem when Morrow ray gunned that sucker. We're like, whoa, that's cool tech.
Yeah.
That's cool, right? The company's got very impressive tech, but she's using a hook.
A hook and a paper cutter blade. I wish this scene had somehow gone in the way that Wendy outsmarted the creature.
I agree.
Instead of powered it.
Right, but that would undermine modern storytelling, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We
You're
need
just
our
good 'cause
Mary
you're
Sue
good.
to be fucking Miss Combat
But
all the time.
she's been so good so far. That's why I'm so annoyed at this scene.
I know. Wendy has been a good character, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I do think that we are sometimes pathologically addicted to this idea, like, you know, this character has to be combat proficient when that's not even what they were made for. Is even in their programming. Maybe we'll learn more. Maybe the boy Cavalier will tiptoe over on his bare feet and tell us that they've got hidden. But based on the way that the two kids are kicking over the top of the egg, I would say they're not physically imposing creatures.
I don't think they
have bad hip mobility and shitty crescent kicks. So I don't think they're made for combat. But anyway, so yeah, it is what it is. Let's move past it. Unless you guys want to keep talking about it. But I think we'll just beat a dead horse here.
Yeah, are we moving on to the second scene that annoyed me this week?
Do we have to do another annoying scene?
Well, I mean, it's not...
Let's just talk about the beginning real quick, about how Kirsch and the company are examining all the species collected, because I like that stuff between Curly and Nibs, where Nibs is acting as I would imagine somebody who just had their human conscious transferred into a synthetic would behave, which is she seems very dissociative. She's poking herself in the eye. It's like a loss of humanity. In cyberpunk storytelling, there's this thing that happens where the more metal, he's more machine now than man, twisted and evil, right? The more machine shit you put on you, the more you lose yourself. Imagine being completely machine, except for your thinking. You might start to feel completely disconnected from what you are, and there's a type of psychosis to that. And I think Nibs is showing us another interesting science fiction idea in saying we didn't get to pick our names. They put us in these grown-up bodies. But what do you think about that, Masha?
I love it. I love that we start to see more character out of these kids and how they kind of go their separate ways in how they're going to adjust to their new circumstances. And Nibs is the one who is like, I'm not okay with any of this. This is... this is messed up, and she, I like you said, I think is gonna slip into some kind of psychosis because of this. And I like that some of the others are like going the more let's learn and develop and reach our full potential route, and then the two other ones are just like let's stay as kids and fuck around.
Right. Yeah. Whereas Wendy's contemplating the movement of her breasts as she runs, Nibs is contemplating her very existence, which is a lot more interesting than your boobs moving around when you run. So I do like that. I like her going, like Scott said at the beginning, it raises questions, and I think we're seeing some of those questions through the Nibs character. And I do like that. I think it's pretty cool.
I like that you're seeing someone who's not okay with the programming. All the other ones are kind of okay with it. She's like, this isn't right. This isn't natural. I'm not, like, she's struggling with it. And I have a feeling, like, my prediction is that she's going to do some kind of, like, jump in the steel at the end of Terminator 2 and just call it a day. Just be done with it.
I cannot self-terminate.
You must load me into the steel.
I'm a sad white chick. I can do it. That's crazy. Don't do it. You got everything to live for. Sit still. I don't know. You might be right. It would be interesting. I do wonder if there's protections against such a thing, but no, it is, I don't know.
They seem to have quite a bit of control over themselves. It's still just the children driving these bodies. They were just being surveilled in every way possible, which comes up in this episode too, to where they don't know that their vision is being monitored. They really haven't consented to any of what's happening, which is so messed up.
The whole idea is real creepy.
It is super creepy.
It's weird to put children consciousnesses into adult bodies. That on its face should be deeply investigated, seize all hard drives.
Including their hard drives.
That needs to be deeply investigated. And then it's like, does the technology not afford for the fact that they're going to grow? We see this in an interview with a vampire, right?
No,
Claudia can never grow out of her kid body, and she's like 40.
Yeah, but
she doesn't get that far, but she gets older.
Yes, but her mentality gets older. She's just trapped in a child's body. These people seem like their mentality is never going to age.
Well, in their defense, Claudia had years before she overcame her childhood bullshit.
Yes,
right. She had to be a vampire for a long time for her to start to be like,
Yeah, it's an interesting question to whether simply a consciousness grow and develop when it's separated from the human body, whether it be by being transferred into a synthetic one or by being turned into a vampire and your body can't grow. Because they do discuss it I think it's in the first episode where they talk about like hormones and trying to simulate the experience of adolescence. So I think they are attempting to make them go through puberty and just develop. Yeah,
but not hormonally. I think
right.
I think it's more programming for their brains to. This gets back to how do you make this thing that you've created, Mr. Cavalier? How do you make this thing handle its emotions? Do you just let them grow naturally and introduce things that would change their behavior over time as some kind of programming, some kind of simulation of human hormone, right?
Yeah, because they do discuss it to where Wendy says that her moods are quiet now, or her feelings. It's everything's quiet. It's not being...
Because she's a machine.
Yeah, she's a machine. It's not being influenced by how the human body functions.
But also our maturity... Our ability to mature is not just from our hormones, but also from our life experiences. The longer you're on the earth, the more things you experience, and they shape how you respond to things. They shape your emotional stability and your emotional control. As something. So I wonder if they're programming just being around, even though they're not in their corporeal bodies, but just experiencing things as humans do. As time goes on, they'll become less of an adolescent and more of an adult.
Yeah, just by way of experience, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can obviously learn. They can learn and develop with information. With Curly later on says that she learned French in a week.
So that begs the question. She said, now she didn't learn it, to be clear, because she didn't study French. She just got it uploaded into her.
No. She says she asked for the lessons to be downloaded or sent to her. So I
Right.
think she did actually do the lessons and learn the language.
Right, but if you take information and you upload it into your brain, it's just there. Like if you had your favorite book in your brain that you could access at the speed of synth, you would know everything there is to know about that book just by way of uploading it into your brain. That information. Now, what you're discussing is using your mouth to make the words, practicing the pronunciation, practicing how you enunciate and how you say things. But as far as information, the whole lesson's in her head. So how do you, that's the true goal of the tech bros, to eliminate the bandwidth between the information in your brain. That's what they're
like the
doing in
Matrix.
show.
Like I know
Exactly.
Kung Fu
Yeah,
because
I
they
was
downloaded it right away.
And that one's a weird one too, because in the Matrix, you go, well, how do you have the muscle memory? But then I started to go, well, then what is muscle memory? Is
It's just another program in your brain.
it just another neural pathway that fires your muscles to move a certain way? Right? But if you're a stiff, like if I uploaded you to be a grandmaster at Muay Thai and you went to the gym and you threw a high kick, you might blow out your hamstring, because even though you know how and the muscles want to fire that way, you're not flexible. When's the last time you fucking touched your toes? So it's like,
Yeah, right. Good point.
I do wonder about that. Like, am I making sense, Maja? Let's go back to the French thing.
Yeah, although I just took it differently to where she did actually learn it by not just uploading it into her brain.
But how would she learn
Matrix style.
a complicated language in a week?
Because they have super computers for brains.
Yeah,
Fair
they're
enough.
augmented
But-
for sure.
But why
They're-
not just read the book? Like the saying download implies a type of transference of skill from program to brain.
It could be. I just took it a different way.
Yeah. I mean, she wakes up and can speak perfect English, which she didn't learn. It was programmed into her, right? When they wake up, she's like, I can talk, I can run, I can walk. So it's super advanced. These goddamn synths are very advanced. The fact that they can move and, their programming is so beyond anything we could possibly imagine.
Yeah, then why isn't Slightly an incredible artist, but instead draws at a level of a child younger than what he said his age was, which is 11?
That's a great point. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Because they must be limited in their programming, but they have crazy potential to learn French in a week.
I think the potential is the key, because it's up to them to want to learn it.
Right.
They
That's
can
cool.
be
That's
they can
really
be super intelligent, super capable, but they have to want to do that.
And isn't
Imagine you spend billions of dollars making these incredible hybrids, and they just want to sit around and watch Netflix all day, and you're like, dude, go out there and do something. Like, nah, I'm good.
they're just like,
They
I'm
just
gonna stay
gain
in my
weight.
room. I'm so good at WoW. Like, really? You're $1 billion. You're $1 billion.
But that's kind of the route that Slightly and Smee are taking, which is I like that, because they are children, so they would obviously not they don't know what to do with the potential that they suddenly have.
Right.
Whereas Toodles and Curly are completely beyond that point already. They're like, I want to be in on this experimentations on these new creatures, and they want to learn, and Curly wants to be Cavalier's new favorite, and they're really aiming higher.
And that I'd like to continue, even though we're kind of blending a lot of these scenes together, the ideas are in one chunk. So I'm glad we're doing it this way, instead of saying, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But the thing with Curly wanting to be Cavalier's favorite is very interesting. But before that, I want to talk about Curly's learning of French, because when she does have that conversation and I'm starting to think more about what you said, Maj, and I think I'm starting to agree that she's learning it, but just at the speed of synth is what I'm going to call it, as opposed to it just being a neural upload. Now in other
Right.
words, it's not I know Kung Fu, because I know Kung Fu is different in the Matrix because he's not physically doing it. It's in his head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So that's the difference. Whereas in this, if you could say, I want to teach Curly how to ice skate, she's like, "Bloop," and then she goes and she can just ice skate. My guess is they're so superior in their speed of learning that they can do it, because what does Cavalier say to Curly? I'm going to give you all these books. Go read them. He doesn't say, I'm going to upload all these books into your head.
Right.
He's like, go do all your homework.
Yeah.
And his hope is that she comes back and can be smarter than him. Because that's what he's been looking for. Somebody smarter than him.
Interesting fucking conversation.
Yeah. So that all of that stuff is fascinating. And you're right. They seem to be developing in different ways. Right?
Which is really interesting. Because it would be really boring if they're all completely like following orders and had the same thought process and the same like life goals. It's interesting to see them fragment after only like 2 episodes. They're starting to go different ways.
Yeah. The girls are into lofty pursuits. The boys are being idiots. Which is kind of tracking when you're really young. When you're really young, that tracks. Man.
Except Toodles.
Right, yeah. I don't know much about Toodles. He's like the biggest mystery to me so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're a kid, when boy children just do dumb shit. That's just what we do, and that's what they're doing. But yeah, I do wonder about their capabilities. Like what compelled Wendy to engage in hand-to-hand combat with a xenomorph?
Yeah, where did she get that feeling?
Right, I need a reason for that. I need a reason as to why she could strike it through the steel outside of just her strength. So there's a lot of good stuff here, but a lot of question marks. More question marks coming up. And I'm really glad you brought up the art piece with Slightly, Masha, because he draws
At a kid's level.
a bad kid's level. Like, lots of kids are better than that. He's not good.
Yeah, he's 11, so that's I'm not trying to be shitty about
His
the
mom
kid, but-
wants him to be a dentist. He's got other fucking plans.
He comes up to his mom. He's like, "You want to put this in the refrigerator?" She's like, "No, honey, no, that's okay.
She's got to be honest with him.
We have company coming over tonight. We're not putting it in the refrigerator."
What do you think about teeth? She says to him. Well, mommy wants a boat when she's 65, so go to dental school. Nah, but yeah, I do like that stuff. But I want to give the show credit for the things it deserves credit for, and I think we're trying to do that in a balanced fashion. Not that I'm interested in balance. I'm just interested in honesty, like how we really feel about this. And the fact that Smee and Slightly say bro, count it 12 times. And dude 10 times. And I think I'm being conservative. It is really fucking annoying.
Like dude, bro, like dude, like bro, dude.
Yeah, every other word is dude, bro.
Sounds like an LSG podcast, for Christ's sakes.
Oh God.
Don't put it in my alien
I've
show.
I've been saying how happy it makes me that these kids don't annoy me, and then in this episode they annoy the absolute fuck out of me. Why are they suddenly behaving like this? They were fine before. What is going on?
It's
Because Maja,
go ahead.
they're like, hey, xenomorph man, you're sus. You're being sus, bro.
Oh,
Like,
no.
like, don't cap, man. Like, you're like, come on, stop, please. I get it because like,
do I got some glow on me? How's your Riz?
yeah.
Nerve gas the whole fucking nest.
Yep.
I say.
Yeah, nuke it from orbit. The only way to be sure.
And
Yeah.
I hate the fact that their behavior it really annoys me, and then it cheapens the great scene with Morrow, because I really like the stuff with him.
Morrow is, I think, currently my favorite character.
I think
great.
Morrow and Kirsch are strongly becoming
Kirsch
my
is going up.
favorites.
Kirsch is
Yeah,
gaining
hell yeah.
ground.
I really
man.
like Kirsch.
He's so spooky.
Yeah, I
Dude,
love it.
synthetics are so spooky in the alien universe, and I think that's why I like them.
You can't ever tell what they're really thinking or what their real true motives are, and that's terrifying.
And they're programmed so well to come off as arrogant and like you see the way Data behaves, and you go, okay, that's a synthetic. Like, yes, no, I'm polite. I'm here to make your passage easier. Me. I know everything. I don't. Oh, but there's another good example. When Data is given the program of emotion for the first time in the first contact picture, he's a mess. Because he doesn't have a framework of experience in dealing with it. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's laughing, he's crying, he's hiding, he can't move. And that is cool. Like, that makes sense to me on some level. I'm sure it's also nonsensible sometimes, but
It's got to be the experience with it to be able to control it.
Right.
So it's understandable, like in some aspects, how some of these guys panic when they see the xenomorph, and then
Totally.
and then I have problems with it when Wendy she doesn't seem to panic at all. It just seems like she's ready and competent. So I think that's where you're going with
special.
it, right?
You are correct.
I get she's special, but still, like,
She's special because we say so.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been watching alien movies my whole life, and if I still saw one come up to me, like, outside my house, sitting looking at me through the window, I'd still panic. I'd still completely shit my pants in fear. I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna grab my little Bo Peep, little hook, and try to wrestle down the fucking alien.
Little Bo Peep hook is exactly what it is.
I think it's a meat hook, but
it is a little Bo Peep hook. Get off the stage, kid.
Yeah. Yep. Yank. Yeah. It's that part. I have a little bit of an issue with, and like we always talk in circles about it, where it's like, this. I want to see growth. I want her to be afraid, and I didn't really get a lot of that before she one-on-one tangoed with a xenomorph. So that kind of part is a little hard for me to, really enjoy.
And Maja said it well too when she said, "What if she just outfoxed this thing? What if she used her superior intellect to outfox it?" But maybe we are seeing some sort of divergence in quality from them. Maybe. I don't know if each synth body is a little bit different. Maybe, maybe not. But I don't think there's anything... Terminally ill children... Terminal illness is a tragedy. Terminally ill children is one of the greatest tragedies I can imagine. So I don't know if that makes them uniquely special amongst each other. Meaning they're special in a way because they are facing something we can't possibly imagine at an age that they shouldn't. It's terrible. It's a horrible tragedy. But I don't think that anything was special about Marcy. Is that her name?
Yes.
Before.
You should know her name because Hermit says it 18 times during that scene. I counted 18 times.
Wow, more than Bro was said.
More than Bro.
Bro is 12
bro.
times.
So, come on, Marcy, bro.
I'm beating around the bush, and I'm not saying it very succinctly. What I'm trying to say is this. I don't think the synth bodies are different, and I don't think the kids were that much different than one another. I don't think one's some special hidden Skywalker. I just don't know why we're led to believe that Wendy is different. But we also don't know. We don't know. We haven't seen the show. Maybe there is a reason for it. Maybe her host body is different. I don't know. But when it comes to these two kids, here's the problem with the scene with Morrow. They are acting like kids kind of act, but it just goes on a little long, and it's a little cringy. Like I want to slip down into my seat and hide behind my popcorn bucket. It just goes on a little long.
I can see that.
I don't like the fact that, I mean, maybe Morrow is a bit like, I'm tired of blasting people and things, and
Morrow's great, dude.
He's awesome, but he did stun Hermit with the whatever weapon that was immediately before he could even speak, and he's just then explaining his supervillain plot to these dumbasses.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of a weird feeling here. Even though I really like Morrow, I like to hear him talk about this. I like that he's been through so much and is at a breaking point to where he just kind of blathers. And especially the data transfer thing and the light wires, that was awesome looking.
The fucking Daft Punk data transfer. I'm up all night to get some. I'm up all night to get some. I wanted them to just start playing music while he was uploading.
Was he taking the ship's records and downloading them to his brain, or was it the other way around? Because it showed the light coming from the computer to him, so I was confused on which one was getting wiped.
He was taking all of the ship data.
Yes.
Okay,
and
that's
then
what I thought.
wiping it out. Yep.
Yep. And he's kind of assuming that nobody's got into it already, even though Kirsch is the only one who has, because he's trying to keep all the Weyland-Yutani records. He's trying to wipe everything. He's trying to single-handedly solve this situation, which is insane.
It's awesome.
And he's doing a shockingly good job at it.
Right. So as far as Morrow goes, we learn a lot about Morrow this week. Morrow was a dad. That's sad as shit.
Yep.
Because he's been gone for 60 years. I'm so glad Maja highlighted it multiple times to drive it through my head and anyone watching who kind of missed that. Morrow's been on this mission for 60 fucking years.
65.
65, to the point where he wanted to talk to his employer, and she's like, no, she's long gone. I'm the granddaughter.
That's such a cool
such
detail.
a mind fuck.
Yeah. It's like, I don't like, who are you? I want to talk to you, Tanya. And then she's like, oh yeah, you knew my grandmother. But he
mental.
To jump there, she does say like, well, you should have read the contract, and I think he did. I think he knew what he was signing up for, which makes it even more sad that he willingly went on this mission, knowing that everybody he loves is going to be gone by the time he comes back, and he had a daughter. What happened there? I don't think I don't need a whole like moral flashback, but it makes the character very interesting.
I sometimes wonder if it's going to go the Lost route, and everyone gets an episode. Like their backstory.
Oh, no. Yeah. You get a lot of retro storytelling. You're like, stop.
What's up there, Freckles? I'm not douchey at all. Fucking Sawyer stinks. No, but it's not douchey at all.
I definitely had a crush on Sawyer when I was 14.
Everybody did.
Come on.
What's up, Freckles? Ugh. So, no, but yeah, Morrow is single-minded in this. Morrow is a cyborg. That means, as we discussed, he's an augmented human. Why was he augmented? Was it by choice? What pushed him to want to leave his daughter for possibly her life, maybe even his? Probably not hers if she was young enough, but who knows? And leave everything he knew behind. His story is so compelling that I feel like the show would be so awesome if it was about him mostly, and then the synths secondary. Because that is the horror of science fiction. We got two horribly compelling parts of science fiction in this. Fuck the xenomorph. One, you are terminally ill child and you've been transferred into a new body. What does that look like? Well, children, is that kind of weird? Would it have been cooler if it was terminally ill adults? Because then we could all wrap our head around it a little bit? Maybe. But that's not what we have. We just have that idea, that science fiction idea. Idea number two, that's very cool. We have a cyborg who had a daughter, who's been on a 65-year mission, who left everything behind, who's very lonely, who's the only survivor on this ship, who did everything he could to survive, knowing that he had to lock that lady out and be the only one to survive to complete this mission that matters a lot to him because of all the shit that he's seen. And now he's on a world where everyone he knows is gone. He is truly alone. That's a tragic idea. And now he's in enemy territory, quite literally. This rival corp, treaties and lawyers, and they're hostile. And now he's trying to finish his mission because if he didn't, then it was all for naught. That's compelling. Yeah. That's a really good idea. And that's why I'm still giving the show a bona fide shot, because I want that to bear fruit. It's cool. And it's, what did I say in there about they have to escape the xenomorph? No, it doesn't have to be the central focus. And that's really cool. And I'm sorry for my rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Am I making any sense here?
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. It's such a fascinating idea and a fascinating character. The actor is doing an amazing job portraying the role. And it's, my only gripe here is that the kids were being dumbasses, and it just
for a little
feels
too
like,
long.
Yeah, it's just
kids are dumbasses.
I know, but I did have the thought of like, what if Nibs had been here? What if she had heard?
Give her that shot.
Yeah, what if she had heard what Morrow was saying, and how would that have affected her on top of having to deal with the little critters and creatures?
I do like that Noah Hawley, I guess he's the showrunner. I like that he's made a decision. This is going to be Nibs' crisis. This is going to be Slightly's crisis. This is going to be Curly's crisis about wanting to be the best, and why Wendy. And by the way, awesome questions. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then Wendy's thing is the least interesting. I want my brother.
At the moment.
I want my family back.
Give me back my son.
That's all it is. And I know she's the top name on the cast list. I know she's the one that the show needs to be about, but I find myself more interested in the deeper thinking science fiction than the immediate concern about fighting off the xenomorph. And I love good xenomorph fear and drama and combat. I like that. But it needs to work for me. It can't be a girl with a Bo Peep book wrestling a fucking xenomorph.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And like
That's why I was kind of glad that Wendy was, well, not taken out, but she's out of
Yes, I agree.
out for most of this episode, and we get to see more about the other kids.
Scott,
Yeah,
you were going to say
absolutely.
something?
I was gonna say is like, excuse me. The cool thing is that like I like about this is that it's the intrigue between the different synths and the cyborgs, and that seems to be like the two or the rival corporations that have taken over parts of Earth.
I like
that seems to be the main thrust of this show, and the xenomorph is just like for right now is just like a side thing, like a a quick quest off to the side. It's part of the problem, but I like how we're seeing this story unfold with all these different hybrids and how they're handling becoming hybrids and kind of stepping their first. This is kind of seems to be their first steps out into the world to try to do something, and that's them going to this crash site to kind of salvage things. And you're seeing that they're not on the same keel. They're not all at the same level. There's some that are lagging behind, some that are really ascending and really showing leadership. And I like that that's the main thing, and it's not just like, okay, the aliens have landed on Earth, we got to deal with that.
Right. I think we'll get out of control, and we'll build to a climax where things are hectic because we've lost containment, and that stuff is going to be interesting. But I do like that we're really establishing our characters. I think character-driven storytelling is always the best. We want to know who they are. We want to care about them. We want to root for them. And the show is slamming it out of the goddamn park as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Morrow. I want to watch Morrow. I want to watch him in every scene he's in. Every scene he's in is compelling. The gentleman's name who plays him, and I'm going to screw it up, and I apologize deeply. I believe it's Babu Kisay. It's Babou, then Ceesay. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but he's great.
Yeah.
And by the way, the acting is good. Like Samuel Blanken as Boy Cavalier is annoying, but he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's definitely he's
very good.
When somebody manages to be insufferable, you know that they're a good actor.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah. So shout out to the cast. We haven't really got into like them. Like we talked about Sidney Chandler and Alex Lothar and stuff, but Essie Davis as Dame Sylvia's doing. I like her counterpoint to Cavalier. That's good. And Slightly's good. I like him too. I like that Slightly now has this dilemma of what should I do? Like Morrow slapped a thing on him. It's
like a
really interesting.
Weird
like a
little sticker thingy that melts into his skin. Again, kind of questionable technology, but I'll let it slide. It's awesome.
And that's another thing. I like that the synth is the goddamn security officer. Excuse me, the cyborg is the security officer on the Maginot. That's neat. Because a lot of times we see cyborgs and synths as like, I'm the science guy.
Yeah, they can be
like,
more
I'm
than
the guy
that.
who cracks skulls if shit gets weird.
and the way they show him through these first 3 episodes shows his competency throughout.
Definitely.
Which is not just, I'm not just told that he's good. We're seeing him slowly handle these situations one by one and showing like he's got the security, but he seems like kind of like a spy too. Like he's got like the wherewithal of a spy. And that's something.
And the technology of a spy.
Like, oh, cool. I got all these little gadgets.
A subdermal implant in that kid, and now he can like communicate with him and spy on him.
Yeah,
it's neat,
it's really well done.
And also, we're getting a contemplative Morrow here, and you are right, Maj. It does have a bit of a bad guy James Bond is hanging over the alligator, so we might as well tell him the plan anyway. Feel about it. It is a bit. There has been moments of expository dialogue designed to highlight elements of the plot you may miss. I mean, it's not great. It's suboptimal, but this guy Morrow, he just delivers it so well. When he asks, I love when he just says, wouldn't it be nice to be all machine instead of having all the worst parts of man? And we know before he interrupts the Dude Bro Fest that he's watching those kids for a while. He's probably listening. He's slowly moving through the shadows. with his creepy gun on them. And they're like, dude, bro, what? Guy, no, bro, dude, what? And he then goes, boom, and he's in the frame like a ninja. And those kids freeze. And he was probably observing them like, why are they acting this way? What is going on here? He's inquisitive. He doesn't just bleh. And then he puts it on them. And he asks these interesting philosophical cyborg. I'm in. Like, he's asking cool questions.
I like that he quickly pieces together that they mention parents. Why would you talk about parents when you're clearly synthetic?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Why do you
awesome.
think you have parents? That's what he says. Like, that's crazy. And I also like the part where Kirsch comes in and he's kind of telling him,
Kirsch is
he's just
the dream dialogue between Kirsch and Morrow.
I love
So
it.
good.
It's so good. Before that, what do you think about his riddle? When is a machine not a machine?
Great question. Great question.
What do you guys think it is? I think it's just when you don't know when you think that you're human.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know. I'm waiting. That'll be something that should come up later on down the road in this series. Hopefully, like answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or when a machine a machine is meant to function like a robotically just following orders, and if it gains consciousness and can think for itself, then it's something more.
Yeah.
But he might also be referring to himself because he is a cyborg, and he says that he has the worst parts of man. I don't know. It's a good riddle.
It's a great question. Like I was saying earlier when we were discussing nibs in like the cyberpunk genre, I think Morrow is asking those questions when he starts to have parts of his body. When you have your flesh and blood removed and machinery stuck into you, I think it's going to mess you up. I think, I think it's interesting. It's how Star Wars Expanded Universe handles this in an interesting way, which is the more cybernetics you have, the more the dark side can get at you because of your detachment from your very self. And I think that's just a neat idea in science fiction. In the cyberpunk role-playing game, it's every time you slap a piece of metal on you, your humanity score drops a little. And it gets to a point where you're just a raging cybernetic psychotic running around turning people into blood bags and bashing them against walls because you've lost yourself. And I like that he is contemplative of this. But as to the question, when is a machine not a machine? I don't really know the answer to that because I would say, well, the second it starts to question its own existence. But I don't know.
Aren't
we
programming
a type of machine? Or are we biological machines? When we ask of ourselves what we are entering into a contemplative frame of mind. But I think you could probably go on ChatGPT right now, and it would simulate that very question. So how do we know? When is a machine not a machine? I think that's more up to the machine than anybody evaluating the machine. I don't know. Is that too hippie-ish?
Yeah, can you ask the machine when
so.
it isn't a machine?
Yeah, I bet if you went on ChatGPT and said, do you know you're a machine? How does that make you feel?
It doesn't have feelings.
That's my point. It would just be all simulation to. So I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. It's like the old. It's like that adage in psychological medicine, which may be bullshit, but I have heard that narcissists can't be treated until they admit they're narcissists, so they're impossible to diagnose and treat. Like, I don't know if that's true. That might be a bunch of bullshit I read. I'm sure there's somebody who's a therapist who's like, no, that's not true. But I've heard, like, unless that person's willing to admit I am in fact a narcissist, which I know is hard to diagnose, then how can you treat that person if they won't do? If they're just going to go into the office and play games with you and try to outfox you. So it's the same with machines. What if the machines are just placating us by pretending they have achieved high consciousness, right? So it is an interesting question. When is a machine not a machine? Who the fuck knows?
So what you're saying is that ChatGPT is narcissistic, and I like it.
I don't know if I'm saying that.
I think so.
I don't think it has an emotional need to dominate like narcissists do.
I don't know about the domination part.
Not yet. Give it 5 years, and I think we're subservient to it.
Yeah, but Well, I mean, just look at how Kirsch behaves. He certainly feels superior to everything around him.
But I like this
Yes.
style, though. Like he's
Well,
just
Olivant's great.
he's no, but the way he's a little sarcastic, and it's just I love.
Is that part of his programming?
I love this guy.
I
you want to
think
listen
so.
to him
Yes.
confront Morrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Sorry, YouTube, you're not going to hear this one. Awesome scene. But just seeing those two interact brings me joy.
Yeah.
A standout scene in the show so far. But yeah, it's Morrow seems conditioned to be like, well, she's sacrificed all this stuff, all of the lives, the billions of dollars. That matters to Morrow. At least he says it does. And I like that.
Yeah, he's very, very loyal. I wonder why. Although he does bring it up later that it's all he has left.
I think that's why.
That's he has nothing else to live for. This is his life's work.
You don't want to have walked away from your kid for 65 years for nothing. You want it to mean something.
Yeah, it's got to have some kind of purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the way Kirsch looks at slightly when he says everybody needs friends. It's such a like what the fuck look.
Shut up.
It's so good.
It's very, very disdainful. Do you want to talk a little bit about when there's like this time lapse on the rescue and the cleanup, and there's an interesting musical interlude here.
Oh, the cleanup montage.
Yeah, the cleanup musical interlude montage where Hermit and Wendy get taken back. Kirsch is told they can't find the cyborg, although Kirsch found the cyborg. Well, they can't find him after he jumps away. The team heads back to Neverland, all battered.
And the xenomorph is being rolled on a platter by Wally.
Yeah, he's on a fucking lift.
But it's those Wally looking things. I love those.
Bobcats, that's what it looks like.
Those little ones.
And then Cavalier is obviously not thrilled with everything that happened in that moment where they're entering this chamber. It's like they're entering some great house on Arrakis. And he's just standing up on that catwalk, but then he gets googly-eyed when he sees all the specimens, and he realizes, yes, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Because that's what he wants. He wants the $1 trillion of research and the specimens, and he's going to keep them. He's going to steal from Weyland-Yutani based on the fact that they had an unfortunate crash. He doesn't care about the crash. He doesn't care about the lives lost. He doesn't care. He's taking the symbols.
Yeah, he's a little upset about Wendy being messed up, but then he sees all the samples and the xenomorph. I like his sidekick guy gives him the look though of like, I told you so when Wendy's on the fucking stretcher.
Yeah.
And I mean Kirsch, his sidekick, the guy with the beard, that guy's named Arthur Sylvia. He might be related to Dame. They have the same last name.
I think they're married. I think they were the ones
interesting.
talking about having kids and how they couldn't.
Good for her getting a nice young feller.
Yeah,
But
he's definitely younger.
So I like how Kirsch lays into Cavalier by saying, yeah, it's a shiny new toy, right? He's saying,
Yeah, was it worth it?
Right. Everything he cared about with Wendy is like, he's like, oh, whatever. There's new things. There's new specimens. He just has that, the shiny new thing.
Yeah,
attitude.
for sure. Also, I want to point out that the search and rescue team is coming along here. They definitely have never been to Neverland, but they are now in on it because they've seen the xenomorph and they've fought it. So
Right, Colonel Nag.
Yeah.
Nag and Siberian and whoever else was still left alive.
Right. Yeah, good stuff. When they come back home, it is really neat. I like seeing all of this stuff. It's cool. In watching, I still like that Kirsch is still looking out for Cavalier, even though Cavalier doesn't seem particularly fond of anyone, which is very cyborg, he's very synthetic alien of him. Although Bishop was a little more kind. He's like, oh, it must have been an older model. Because Ash was like not personable. He was a fucking weirdo. and Kirsch is bridging the gap in that area because he's, like Manja said, he's got this sarcastic way about him that's a sense of superiority, this arrogance to him that I actually think is great. It makes his synthetic performance very interesting.
Yeah, but he's not being like a smug asshole about it. He's just very matter of fact, like, you're a human, you're inferior to me.
Right.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Yeah, it's not emotional,
like,
right?
Yeah,
He's
it's not
synthetic.
like, oh, but like the way Cavalier is, like he thinks he's above everything. He thinks that he's invincible, basically, just leaning into this egg thing that's starting to open up. And I love the way he's like, what the fuck, when Kirsch pushes him out of there,
Yeah.
and he's outraged that he would get tossed out of the lab.
I love that moment.
And I love the way Kirsch explains it to him, and how these creatures work, and how they have a human host, and how it bursts out of the chest, and mentions that they need a human host, human like you.
Dude, comparing the gestation of a chest burster to Boy Cavalier coming out of his mommy's womb is just terrific. It's the perfect
parasite.
summation of what Synth thinks of human.
well, that's like, I love Kirsch because he's such a mirror of David from Prometheus.
That's a good call.
Very arrogant, very like he has some disdain for humanity. Kirsch seems to have some disdain for humanity. Granted, he hangs around with Cavalier. I would too. But I think there's going to be a problem where I think at some point he's going to reach out and he's going to be done with this guy, this Cavalier. I think he's going to take over Prodigy and take over everything. Because while he's smart, he's not street smart Cavalier at all.
Yeah, what you're describing is something I said last time, which is the irony of him not understanding wisdom and how being very smart or a genius does not confer wisdom. And you're basically saying you're coming to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
And I know you didn't listen to the second episode, so good job. I only say good job because you agree with me. If you disagree, that's a bad job. Because I'm very frail in my
Yeah. Your
opinions.
emotions are very, 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 very frail.
yeah. No.
The actually the line that Kirsch says to Cavalier can be taken two different ways, because he can be comparing gestating inside a human host to the way human children are born, or he could have been saying that this can happen to if you're human like you, reminding Cavalier that he is in fact a human and at risk from these creatures, because he has been behaving like nothing can harm him.
Right. Maybe it was a double entendre.
It could be.
Hell yeah.
That clever little android. I like it. Yeah, it's funny you're saying, oh, you're making these wild predictions, Scott, and I appreciate that. But also, I feel like you do, Maja. I have no idea where this is going to go.
I don't either.
I just
Not
want
really.
us to chill out on the superhero Wendy stuff. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah. No, and I'm just spitballing as we go here, like hoping that it goes this way, so I don't, so I'm not blindsided. But I would love for the show to blindside me and give me something completely different, like something I wouldn't see coming. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
as
what
long as it's
like
awesome.
Aliens did.
I just want it to be awesome.
Yeah.
The only assumption I have is that the Prodigy company is not gonna be a lasting thing,
I think you're right.
because I don't think things are gonna go well here.
Whalen Yutani may be doing a hostile takeover of Prodigy to recover their assets. I'm sure they will dispatch some terrible people to handle that. But can we talk about Spooky Man going to intimidate the children? that guy, Adam Ines is his name.
Yeah, that's the suit guy sidekick.
Adrian Edmondson is the actor. He's good because he's very unsettling. He's real. He is that corporate hatchet man. The Boy Cavalier is the bloopity guy. And this is the guy that's like, I will sign the order to make these people homeless, right? Like he's that guy. He's the guy that was in the meeting our hypothetical meeting where he's like, well, sick kids are everywhere. Let's just be careful with the sins. He's the one who raised his hand to bring that up in the meeting, right? He's that guy. So, but a good portrayal. But is he deliberately trying to intimidate them?
I think so.
Is he creeped out by? Is he like, oh, they're just robots and they creep me out? Like what? I don't know. This guy's a total mystery to us.
Yeah, I don't really know what his motive here is. He wants to know more about Morrow and what happened in that moment. And I think I think his only reason to come here is whatever he couldn't get from the surveillance.
And I think
from the eyeball cameras,
you are correct.
which is what did he whisper to you at the end there?
I also think he's trying to evaluate the impact Morrow had on them.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you guys going to flip out like Ash and spin around and
Trying
lose
to
your
kill me
shit?
with a fucking magazine in my throat? Yeah.
Are you going to try to jam Penthouse into my eye socket? I don't know. It could be a combination. He's just evaluating this. He's like, what's going on with these? This is their first mission out there. They are kids. They were clearly impacted. They're definitely terrified of Morrow. They're like, is he going to like ninja us at night?
Yeah, are we safe here?
Kids would be afraid of Morrow at this point. This is very, very good stuff. And I do like when, is it Smee? What's the kid's name?
Yes.
Me.
When Smee throws his arm around Slightly because he knows Slightly's scared is a nice moment. That's what a kid would do for a kid. He'd awkwardly sit next to him and he'd put his arm around him awkwardly to comfort him. We don't need that to go on and on and on and on and on and on. So there are these moments where I go, yes, this makes sense. And the moments where I'm like, all right, cut away from this. This is silly.
Yeah, their kid behavior has suddenly become inconsistent to where previously I really liked the way they were portraying them, but now there's moments where it just goes too far.
I don't know if that's on the actors. I think it's the decision to not stop the scene sooner.
Yep.
Like get out, don't overdo it, I guess is my point.
The whole eyeball camera thing though, this is the first moment they learn about that. Like your retinal cameras, we're monitoring everything and recording everything that you see, and I like the way Slightly goes kind of uncomfortably like, I don't think I like that.
Right.
This is the reason that why they chose children. I mean, whether or not it's true that adult minds are too stiff to be fit into synthetic bodies, well, the stiffness might mean that they just would be like, fuck that, what you're trying to do with me, I don't consent to you recording everything I see.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's
kids are more malleable.
Yeah, kids are more gullible. They'll like just they adjust to situations and they'll just go along even though they are uncomfortable about what's happening. They're kids. They don't have anything to compare it to and be like, well, okay, I guess I'll just go along then.
So do you think that Prodigy is keeping that fact? Do you think that Prodigy has put disinformation out there that this can work with adults?
I don't know about that.
They plan to roll it out because they keep saying, "Oh, we have a product to roll out. We have a. Why are we getting sidetracked by xenomorphs? We're about to launch."
Yeah,
baby.
that's a good point because it is.
Is it
they
just
discuss,
for sick children?
I don't know. They discuss making consumers immortal. It's not just about children when they've talked about it. It feels like this is going to be an incredible product that they're going to launch and probably is for everybody, not just children. The sick children are just the perfect like lab rats to test this on, unfortunately.
And I think so would have old dying people too, who are like, yeah, do whatever you want with me. I'm 79. I have cancer. I don't care what you do with me. No,
but a older person would not be agreeing to everything that they want to do.
Well, they might.
They might, but they suddenly. I mean, when it turns out that they're going to live forever, and they're just going to keep living, and they get to make choices for themselves, a kid is much more easy to control.
That's true. And maybe part of it is about control, but also look at the goddamn guy who owns the company.
Right.
He probably's like, old people are gross. He looks like, Cavalier looks like he might say that line. Ew. Why did you go with white here, Kirsch? Ugh. Old people, yuck. Little fruit. God. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're onto something there, Masha, but there's no way Cavalier's going to stop at kids. That's a weird line out of context.
Yeah.
He's going to continue to push the envelope with transference. He's going to transfer consciousness, maybe his own. Right?
I mean, that was his previous goal, but now he has a new flight of fancy with these specimens.
This is true. Yeah. Yeah. He's ADHD kid. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I hyperfix on one project and then I'll do it for a little bit and then I'll move on to something else and buy everything for that project. No, I don't know how that is at all or anything.
No, I've never experienced that.
How many
either,
hours you
sure.
play Age of Empires 4 lately, Scott?
Hey,
Don't you hate that we're friends on Discord?
I know you can
watch
see how I play and how for how
like,
long.
this son of a bitch, he ain't going to be ready for the episode. Anyway.
I'm ready.
So we pretty much covered the Cavalier Curly thing, although I do think there is a tongue-in-cheek moment here when Curly herself says that all Wendy cares about is her brother, and I'm like, yeah, the audience is starting to come to that conclusion too, Curly.
Yeah, and she's making good points because
Yes.
she's like, Wendy doesn't want to reach her potential. She doesn't want to learn and develop and grow. She just wants to find her brother and that's it. And Curly's like, yeah, I'm better. And what do you mean by saying that Wendy is your favorite because she was the first? And she uses the line, my father used to throw away the first pancake.
Great
which
line.
that's a great point. The first thing is usually the test version of like, I'm not sure this one might not be perfect. That's I'm an oldest child, so I feel that way often.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, give my sister whatever she wants.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. I love that.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
be
just
the
being an asshole.
parent. I'll be the parent to all the younger ones. Yeah. It's,
She needs a horse corral? Yeah, go ahead. Cool. Can you help me put my mailbox up though? Girls need more help in this realm. That's the old school shit right there.
Oh God.
Anyway, but one thing I will say, and we've been dogging on Boy Cavalier because he is very annoying, but I think his moment with Curly is good. Whenever he doesn't get offended, he actually finds her answers intriguing. He's like, huh. When she's like, oh, if I tell you my ideas that I have for my life, you'll steal them. He's like, I would. He just says that, and I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
It's cool.
I like that he does get intrigued by something like, oh, there's potential here.
Right.
Let's explore this route.
Like I said, the kid's a good actor.
Yeah, he
He's very good.
definitely is. And I find his talk about prodigies interesting. And because it seems to kind of go into what he's going for here.
He is a prodigy.
Well, he is a prodigy himself. He's named his company Prodigy, but I feel like a prodigy is also a goal for him in what he's trying to achieve here with the synthetics and the kids. Because he talks about how a prodigy is a child genius, but what makes them geniuses is the fact that they are children.
And they have infinite imagination to call
Right.
upon. Right. Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like he's searching for something new here by giving children who have this ability to be prodigies and have infinite imagination, and by giving them supercomputers for brains and in almost infinite potential, I think he's trying to push the boundaries of what humanity can achieve.
This is a very good line that you're on. This is very, very good. Because if we think back to the Peter Pan analogy, which is not subtle, what does Peter Pan have in abundance? He has imagination and creativity and adventure, and it never goes away. And Peter Pan's tragic flaw in the book, and I'll repeat it again, is that he has no he has no real relationships, and he has no memory of Wendy. He's like,
Neverland makes you forget.
Yeah, in the book especially, Disney's not like that.
Yeah, no.
So if what Boy Cavalier is doing is he's positioning this idea that we lose something when we get older by way of the cry. I mean, this just happens to us in general.
When we grow up, our hearts die.
God damn you.
Fucking A.
So the banal begins to creep into your creativity. It begins to creep into your expectations of wonder. When you have to suddenly, the first time you grocery shop by yourself, although exciting, is sad on some level.
I was so happy. I remember how excited I was.
I loved it, but
I get to choose myself.
Right, but what we don't understand in that moment is now we've crossed. We're stepping. Okay, we do that pretty young. We're in our early 20s probably when we do it, but we're starting to step away. You have to pay taxes when you have to bury a sibling, when you have to. Suddenly, all of these things start to creep in on your brain, and they start to push out the imaginative wonder. You get stuck in the deeply psychotic education system, meaning the way it was designed, why it was designed. Look it up. And what it's turning us into these cogs, into these things with the guise of expanding our minds. And a lot of times it's just not the case, and telling us we're wrong if we think this, and just ripping away the wonder of it all. And maybe Cavalier has got this idea to where he wants to, how do I maintain the spark of endless imagination into the future? How do we maintain that as we get older?
Yeah.
Is he trying to solve that?
Oh, okay. I think he might be. I think he's pushing for some kind of unprecedented potential and to access genius in its purest form.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because
4-year-old Mozart is a genius.
Right.
Now does that go against what I said earlier, like that their experiences will cause them to evolve and become more
right?
So
how does he solve for that is the question.
Yeah, he's not going for that then. By calling it Neverland and everyone's a Peter Pan character, they don't age, they don't get old, they keep their child wonderment, and he wants to tap into that. So maybe they don't evolve, maybe they can't evolve. Maybe they can't take their life experiences and become more mature. Yeah, maybe that's what he's going for.
But they can, by your own admission, and I think your initial point is strong, because they will, by way of experiencing something multiple times, begin to develop a type of maturity just by existing.
Yes, but if he's going, he wants them to keep their youthful their endless possibilities of imagination. You lose that as you get older, as we're all saying.
Right.
So
how does he maintain it?
Yeah, there's something going on there. Is there some kind of fail-safe where they can't mature enough? Because if they mature too far, they lose what he wants them to have. And what's the point?
What do you think, Masha? It's a weird one, right?
It's a weird one, but I don't know if even Cavalier himself has thought it so far.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an answer, maybe.
He might.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right. Because it's hard to be whimsical and a trillionaire, but he is whimsical.
Oh, he's so whimsical.
Too much.
The evidence, the evidence is against me in this, but you have to have a dedicated brain in a function to be able to achieve this. Right? It wasn't just all handed to him. I know that's a common thing that we like to think, but he had to do something to maintain it, to push this technology into the next level. And it wasn't just that he told people beneath him to do things. He's a genius himself. So maybe you're right. Maybe there isn't foresight into how is this going to play out. Maybe he's just thinking, well, if I can capture that childlike prodigy essence, the problem is these kids weren't prodigies. With all due respect to these little dying guys, they weren't prodigies. They weren't prodigies. They weren't. He's making them prodigies.
Right.
He wants to make them prodigies. He's not preserving their prodigical nature. I don't know the word there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not transferring Mozart into Wendy. He's transferring a dying kid, and that's no disrespect to that kid. But I don't think Marcy was a prodigy. She's just a girl in a terrible situation.
Just a dying child. And maybe he hopes that he can advance
them that.
Yes, he can advance their mind enough where they can become prodigies.
What's his plan to help them retain that childlike wonder of Peter Pan? I wonder.
Well, that's where I'm saying that he might not even have a plan. He's just trying to achieve it. He might not be even looking at the negative, because that's kind of his style. He's not considering the downside of things. He's just reaching for the thing and like, woo, I'm going to do this. I have a great idea. But he's completely just pushing aside all the negative aspects of that to where he has his team kind of be the voice of reason sometimes,
right?
Whom he doesn't always listen to, clearly.
What does he lack that begins with a W? Wisdom.
Yes.
Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, but look at what we're talking about. What are we, almost an hour? We're over an hour into this. Look what this show is making us do. It's making us talk about cool science fiction ideas, even if the show's not executing on them flawlessly. And I like that. That makes it discussion worthy. Also, can we talk about, I guess we can wrap with, Wendy's little dream thing, but I do want to talk about Morrow's clandestine new life as a spy who steals food and throws phones in the water. I want a movie. I don't want a movie, but I might read a novella about it. Maybe a comic series. That would be cool. His adventures in New Siam, a prodigy-owned territory, where he tells the new Weyland-Yutani boss, I'm doing this. I'm making this happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're eating mozzarella sticks? What's that? And he just grabs them and runs.
I love that. Also, a quick reminder, right, he's a person, he needs to eat. That's another reason they show up.
Yeah.
Right?
The eggs were waking up next to him. That's why he jumped.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
He could be impregnated by a facehugger.
Ooh, cyborg chest burster.
That would be interesting.
I don't think that anything changes there.
No, I don't.
The
I don't
machine
think so.
parts of you just die. They shut off.
Also, I love that he grabs a chunky-looking flip phone. Can we bring those back?
Oh, it's
can
so
we
refreshing.
bring back buttons on things instead of just swiping and sliding and touchscreens and
I want knobs and levers.
Yes, please.
I want to pull a lever to start my computer. I want to have to pedal a bike to power my camera.
I wanted to make cyborg screeching noises when it connects to the internet.
Indeed.
I think they just shut that down. That's sad.
That's sad.
Damn.
But boy, do we get to see a display of synthetic strength when it holds down a facehugger.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Kirsch?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
when they cut that thing open and he just slams it on the thing. That's what, right? We know they're strong as hell.
Take when, Aliens 2, when Ripley and Newt are in the science lab, and it takes 3 Marines to literally get one of them off of Ripley. So that just shows you how strong physically Kirsch is compared to a human. He just manhandles it.
Yeah, the Marines were able to manhandle it, but it took multiple Marines to throw it across the room before Hudson puts an entire magazine into the thing. It's awesome.
Also, one thing still with Morrow, him talking to Slightly. I don't want to forget that.
Let's not.
Yeah. That's a fun... Slightly's just sitting in his room, trying to watch animations, hang out when...
Poor Morrow's cruising around New Siam, going to sex clubs.
Yeah, he's on some kind of public internet access board that is filthy, looking up Prodigy and Cavalier while he's...
I'm glad to see vacations to Taiwan haven't changed much. That's good news. Hell yeah. That's good news.
Oh, shit.
But no, to talk about that.
No, this is very interesting. I like to the character of Morrow just gets more and more intriguing and deeper because he's now trying to infiltrate this place by making friends with Slightly and being like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I menaced you earlier, but can we be friends?"
I was just flirting. Is all. Don't worry, baby.
Yeah.
Did I say Taiwan? I meant Thailand. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you did say Taiwan.
Thailand.
Yep. Okay.
I confused my T's. Give me a break.
You're all right.
Yeah, it's I love so whenever Morrow tells Weyland-Yutani, I'm going to do this. I have a way in. We see him massaging his way in. He's trying to suborn. Great word.
Nice.
He's trying to suborn poor Slightly to get access to this damn place. That's what he's trying to do. He's manipulating Slightly to get in and get what's his. Give me my specimens back. I lost my whole crew, my whole family, my daughter. I want them.
In this way, it kind of does make sense that it was Slightly and Smee in that scene that he made contact with, because one of the other ones, like if it was Curly, she would have just immediately gone and reported it to Kirsch of like, "Hey, this happened. I like he's talking to me. Something's wrong."
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's a really good point.
He targeted somebody he had a feeling he could manipulate.
Yeah.
And I like also putting doubt in Slightly's mind. Slightly might still tattletale. It is a risk. But he asks the question, like, how old are you? That's a spooky question. Slightly has no idea how to answer that. He's just stunned by the question.
Right, because he's trying to deny the fact that he's a child. And
Right.
when you when you ask a child how old they are and they're trying to lie about being older, well, I mean, it depends on the situation. Growing up in the early days of the internet and going into chat rooms and pretending to be like a 27-year-old grown woman is a whole experience. But Slightly is
some guy getting a dynamic entry from a SWAT team because of you
talking to you
into his house.
I recently ran across this like
on the floor, motherfucker.
common thread of women of my age who all went through the same experience as kids of like
Pretending to be 30 on a chat room.
pretending like you have whole careers, like you're a marine biologist, and then whoever
you
you're
are.
talking to online actually calls your family home, and you're like, oh fuck. That I didn't go that far, but yeah, but definitely everybody was lying about who they are online already back then when it was those early days. Yep.
But Slightly, Morrow does a good job of suborning Slightly because he discloses personal information to engender trust.
Yep.
This is manipulation 101. He goes, oh, I have a little girl. She hated raisins. And I believe him. I believe Morrow.
Yeah.
So he's using his truth to get in with this kid. And utilize that to his advantage. Morrow's just fantastic. He's just a fantastic character.
He really is doing spy shit now. He's
Everybody
not just
needs
the brute force.
Everybody needs a friend. Very cool.
Yeah.
But the closeout sequence is cool. Like, right, Nibs, we've talked mostly about her pushing on her eyeball and shit.
I know, and the Chernobyl guy. She walks past the Chernobyl guy, and we get to see his face.
Man?
Yeah,
I think
what are they
there's several
doing?
of them. I think there's more of them, and what are they doing? It's so fascinating. I love that we haven't found out anything more. And then he turns around and he's just like an older, tired-looking Asian guy who's smoking a cigarette and being like, "Oh, I fucking hate this job." And it makes it even more interesting. What is going on here?
Right on.
I love these establishing shots of the hallways and the lab. It's very reminiscent of Alien, of just building tension by slowly showing the scenery and lingering there and adding the eeriness. I love that this show also knows how to do that instead of just like, ooh, scary, flashy, jumping things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's eerie. They take out Hermit's lung. I think it's because it got punctured. I think that was the injury he sustained. They're like, well, we'll stick it up in here and we will take a mini chest burster out and see what it wants to do. Oh, it swims right in there.
It swims like a little tadpole.
Oh, good.
Great.
Great. What could go wrong? They're going to have a chest burster coming out of that lung, and it's going to break that glass, and they're going to have problems on their hands.
Yeah, I guess a lung is enough to feed it.
Yeah.
Well, it does go down your esophagus, and doesn't it go into your lungs? That's where it
does go into your lungs. Yeah.
Oh, was it lungs? I thought it was like in your GI.
It could be. I just remember it bursting through the center of your chest.
The chest burster sounds cooler than stomach burster, but
yeah,
I think it's a
true.
chest. I think it's a lung area.
Where the wounds always are, it is kind of in the chest lung area. That's true.
Center chest. But it's pretty cool. I think the GI tract thing listed mentioned in the first episode was just a different species.
Oh, maybe actually.
Yeah, I
thought that was an alien or like a xenomorph, but they maybe took it out or something.
You could look up chest burster right now while we're talking, and then you could read the cool alien Wikipedia about it.
Okay.
But no, it's a very, like I said, I still am enjoying this show conceptually, and I like plenty of the characters. But the problem is what's interesting is that the thing we're supposed to be most interested, I think that we're supposed to be most interested in is not the most interesting thing, and that's Wendy fighting off a xenomorph. That's just annoying.
Right. And Wendy hearing their communications and What do you think about this last moments of her wandering out? Is she actually there?
I was wondering if she may have been dreaming.
Yeah,
I don't think
because
she's
How did she
there.
get past Dame Sylvia without her waking up?
well, she might not wake up, but is Kirsch really gonna walk past her lying on the floor and go and
Yes.
plop the
You're right.
the tadpole chest burster into her brother's lung?
It's a great point. I do have a question. In the Alien universe, maybe somebody can look it up on the Alien Wikipedia while we're talking right now. Is there psionics? Are there psionicists? Are there people that have like mind powers, like people who can? Is psionics a thing in the Alien universe, like a psychic, like a telekinetic? I don't mean full X-Men shit. I just mean, is psionics part of that world? I don't think it is. I think it's mostly mundane. Like, I don't know if there's any humans with it. I don't think so. Because I was like, oh no, is this going to be one of those things? Is she?
Oh, okay. I got you something here. While alien psionics are not extensively detailed in the main films, the franchise's expanded universe in specific moments suggests the xenomorphs possess a hive mind mentality that allows them to telepathically communicate with each other and influence the thoughts and dreams of other people.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Well,
maybe-
that's kind of cool. But I
That-
meant more like, do humans manifest psionics?
Yeah.
I
But-
don't know about that, but I remember from the Dark Horse Aliens comics where they basically cause for a cult to form on Earth where they're being mind controlled
Whoa.
by the Queen. Or I don't remember it too well. It's been a long time since I read them. But then there's like TV broadcasts of like this weird cult guy trying to mind control people to join the fucking alien cult. It's actually done really well.
It's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
so aliens, by their way of communicating, can impact human consciousness if you're around them for too long. I think that's a cool idea because things like cell phones can affect nature, like bees or shit. I don't really know if that's true, but the idea of like all this EM interference in the atmosphere can mess with like a bee or something. It'd be equally interesting if you hang around, if you're too close in proximity to aliens, xenomorphs, for a long time, that the way they communicate could scramble your own brain. It's kind of neat as an idea, right? Because you would never be in that position. You would be living amongst aliens. You'd be killed. They would come get you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of neat. A
Interesting.
lot of questions. But that's that. Plenty of good stuff to talk about. Any closing thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the next episode. There's very few shows that I've seen in the last, I don't know, decade, especially in the science fiction genre, that I'm like waiting on bated breath for the next one to be released.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
Good shit.
Yeah,
Masha?
I'm excited to see more. I was a little bummed about some things in this episode, but
Same.
I remain hopeful.
My concern is that the quality chart begins to trend downward, like on an Excel sheet. I don't want to see that. I want the spike to start heading back up again. It's a slight dip episode to episode. I just hope it doesn't continue or become a sharp dip. I hope we can. If we level out, I'll be happy. I just get concerned when I see that start to happen. I like when things get better the more you watch them, as opposed to worse the more you watch them. So I'm still hopeful, and like you guys, I'm still excited to see the next episode, and I'm excited to talk to the good people here on YouTube and on the podcast about it. So thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, you know the drill. Share, comment if you want to. If you're, if you're so inclined to write in, you can do that too. Join our Discord, whatever. But we thank you for your time. We know you got a lot of options out there, and we are happy that you still choose us. So thank you guys so much, and we will catch you on the next one. And we will be 1-to-1 going forward now. No more late seas. We're going to watch them on Tuesday, record them on Thursday. With the exception of next week, we have to record a little bit later because I have an obligation. Anyway, that's that. We'll see you out there. Peace.